Hey guys, welcome back and happy Sunday. All right, guys. Well, I know that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is like the gift that keeps on giving, even if they're not on the show. And yesterday we talked about a feud that's brewing between Lisa Vanderpump and Teddi Mellencamp. But to be fair, Teddi was the one who initiated this. But now she's playing victim and she's posting videos and she's saying Lisa Vanderpump got exactly what she wanted, which I want to call this out only because Lisa Vanderpump didn't ask for any of this. She didn't mention Teddi Mellencamp. She doesn't even know how to tag Teddi Mellencamp. And she defended herself because you're talking about her deceased brother, which is absolutely inappropriate. So before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys. So a huge shout out to CC Loves You on Instagram. She posted a scene where Teddi Mellencamp is sitting down with Lisa Vanderpump, and Lisa's talking about how she's going through, this situation with her brother and how it's really sad. And it's a hard time for her, which losing a sibling, especially when they take their own lives. I mean, my heart broke for Lisa. I was working for Lisa at the time. We saw where she was visibly upset. We saw where she took in her brother's kids. She made sure that they had everything that they needed to. And she really was just trying to go through the emotions of, I don't even know what you would feel like in a situation like that. But what I can say is watching her at the time, she was a completely different Lisa, a very sad Lisa, someone who was really going through the grieving process, but she wasn't lashing out at anyone like some other Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, not Sutton, but Teddi went on 2 T's in a pod. Sutton, I guess you're on the brain. Teddi went on 2 T's in a pod and she's like, listen, we got a lot of shit for not acknowledging, Lisa going through the grieving process. And I think that's why she was lashing out and trying to make this whole puppygate a thing, when really none of us even knew that she had a brother. None of us knew that she had a brother. And I don't even think that she had a relationship with her brother. Actually, she didn't say, I don't think. She said she didn't have a relationship with her brother, which is absolutely not true. My fiance and I work for Lisa Vanderpump, and we know that for a fact that she had a relationship with her brother because we saw him come in with her to the restaurant multiple times. So debunked right there. Now, getting back to it, a lot of people gave Teddi shit because they thought that this was absolutely preposterous. This was a very negative thing to put out there on the internet, especially when you have such a huge platform and a podcast that's trending all over it, right? So now with Teddi, she posted a video saying Lisa Vanderpump got exactly what she wanted. She wanted this to happen, and now I'm receiving death threats and people are attacking me. And let me just explain where I was coming from. How did Lisa Vanderpump want that? You posted something on a very public platform on a podcast that you shouldn't have even been talking about, because the only reason that everyone keeps talking about Lisa Vanderpump is so that they can, especially these women on the show, is so they can get the headlines from it. That's why they're talking about it. And she decided to do that. And you're talking about something, not just Lisa Vanderpump on the show, and talk about her with Brandy, talk about her relationship with Kyle. Don't talk about a family member that she lost and that she's going through a grieving process through, and saying, and completely diminishing that and saying that she had no relationship with him. She just wanted, pretty much you're saying she wanted attention and she wanted to use that as an excuse, which again is absolutely not true. Now Teddi's saying, you know what? I'm receiving all of these threats, and Lisa got exactly what she wanted. She wanted this to happen. That's just the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. Now, CC Loves You said, if you follow my account, you know that I'm not a huge fan of either of these women, but in this case, I will stand up for Lisa Vanderpump and call out the complete BS, because how can Teddi say she didn't know Lisa had a brother and uses that as her right to comment on the grieving process after we literally have a scene where they talk about their siblings? Which you can go to CC Loves You on Instagram and see that scene. This is weird AF. I want to say so much right now, but my battery is almost dead. So they should consider themselves really lucky. Commenting on someone who has passed away, the grief process, and literally lying, and to use that as a plug for your podcast episode. Like, if you want to know what I said, click the link below. I'm literally fuming right now. And people agreed. They said, I find this disgusting as shit. Teddi is blaming LVP for orchestrating the vicious messages and death threats that she claims to be receiving, when she can't even look at herself in the mirror or listen to what she even says in her low budget podcast and see what it, so people are going in and they're really defending LVP, but LVP was a fan favorite. And you did use her name for a plug. And listen, I like 2 T's in a pod. I think Tamra Judge is great. Teddi Mellencamp, I like some of her insights sometime, but this was taking it a step too far. And you know who else everyone is claiming is taking something a step too far? Well, that would be Sutton. Now, according to Reality Blurb, Dorit Kemsley is now shading Sutton for making a legal letter a bigger deal. And Kyle's weighing in. Plus, Sutton is explaining why she was upset by it, as Erica is also speaking out. And when they're talking about this, they're talking about the letter that Sutton brought up at the Homeless Not Toothless. I don't want to say that wrong because I don't want to make a mockery of a charity, but at the Homeless Not Toothless charity dinner. When she did, she said, she used it as an example. She said, Erica, you told Garcelle I'm a liability. Yeah, I have attorneys reaching out to me, asking me to be a third-party witness. So maybe that makes you more of a liability. To be fair, in Erica's defense, Erica did tell her multiple times last season, be quiet. Do you want to get sued? And Erica even pointed out at the reunion when Sutton kind of acted like she's heard something, but she said, I don't know if they were lying or not, but I heard rumors. Erica was like, well, if you've heard something, then spit it out, put it out here on the floor. She did give her the opportunity to speak out. And I think because Sutton kept alluding to the fact that she knew more than what she actually knows, yeah, that's probably why someone reached out to you. But she said, I had finally gotten word from my attorney. Everything had been settled, so I knew that I could bring it up. So when we were all sitting around after Melissa Etheridge's performance, somebody said, is there anything else that we need to share with the group? And I said, yep, I've got something that I want to talk about. But not everyone was in the dark about the letter that Sutton received. Sutton had shared this with me a while before, and this is coming from Kyle Richards. She said, I didn't think she was ever going to mention it. So when she dropped the bomb, I was like, oh God, no, where's the nearest exit? Now, Dorit Kemsley found herself irritated at Sutton's suggestion that she needed a lawyer to work through the situation, and she feels like Sutton is making this so much bigger than what it needs to be. What bothers me is that she alluded that it was a lot bigger of a deal. She was sent an email, nothing was official. It was kind of like, hey, do you want to speak up? Because they had, seen her being very vocal. There was not anything, okay? She didn't have to get a lawyer for it. From what I recall, Sutton didn't say she received an email. She said that her attorney received a letter and shared it with her. In order to kind of make a dig, she made something look a lot, bigger and made it into such a bigger deal. And I know it wasn't, and that's what bothers Dorit Kemsley. This is the shit that I don't like. This is coming from Erica. This is my life we're talking about. I'm facing real problems. I'm tired of advocating for myself and getting the shit kicked out of me. The more all of you talk about this, the more people on the peripheral will come to you. And here's the one thing. Sutton did not know anything. And if you want to go back to the reunion, you can see me saying, well, if you know something, you need to tell me. That's where I am defending Erica on this. You can't allude to the fact that you know something with a case or cases this big, and then think that an attorney is not going to come knocking on your door, because they absolutely will. Now, moving on, it was also said, all of us, here, we've known Erica longer, and yet none of us were contacted by any lawyers. So I'm thinking, I think Erica's probably right. Maybe she was alluding to the fact that she knew more than she did or something last year, and that's why they're reaching out to her, because none of us were contacted. Well, maybe this is a learning lesson for Sutton, but in the meantime, I want to hear what your guys' opinions are. What do you think? What are your unfiltered opinions? What do you think about Teddi blaming Lisa for receiving these threats and saying Lisa got exactly what she wanted, which again, I think is just the most ridiculous statement to make. And now you want everyone to sympathize with you because people are sending you hate messages, which I get all the time. So I know what that feels like, and it's awful, but you want people to sympathize with you when really you're the one who pulled the trigger on this entire thing. And then for Dorit to be irritated with Sutton and saying that she made this legal letter, this, email is what she's calling it, a much bigger deal. What are your thoughts about that? Guys, I cannot wait for this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They're finally going to Aspen, which means next week, not this upcoming week, but the week after, I believe we're getting the Kathy Hilton drama. So go ahead, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Love you.